Hello everyone, we are live. I'm here with Kelly Childress and we are up in the sky right now. You can't really tell, but we have a lovely view of the city behind us, and that's why the lighting is pretty bright in here. But hopefully you could see us and hear us. If you can't do either one of those things, please type in a little message and let us know. But hopefully we're coming in loud and clear for you, and you can get some fun tips. We're going to be talking about goals. It's 2017, right? I'm sure everyone has some health goals, so we want to just have a discussion about that and see what people are doing and give some suggestions on what one might do, as well as the process that they're going to take in achieving those goals in the new year. So, as you know, I'm James, the community manager for wellb, and I'm very fortunate to meet lovely practitioners all over the city, and Kelly is one of them. Kelly and I met last year, and we keep bumping into each other, and I thought that Kelly would be a great guest for our Facebook Live, and especially this particular topic. I think me and Kelly are similar process-oriented people. We do like setting goals, and we want to help other people set them, but we also want people to enjoy the process and to make sure that they're engaged in doing things to their own liking, doing things correctly and feeling good about it. So Kelly is a yoga instructor and just a health enthusiast all around. So with that, I'll have you talk a little bit too. Introduce yourself.
Okay, hello. My company is Kelly Yoga NYC. I teach Hatha Yoga throughout the city in the summers. I'm in Central Park and Riverside Park, enjoying the outdoors, bringing us out of the studio. And now that it's a little snowy, we can't do that. So I am in various places, and this new year I'm changing my venues, and I'm doing a lot more private yoga, hence wellb. So I will let you know on my Facebook page or my website the exact spaces once I get them.
Cool. And how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing yoga since like 91, and I've been teaching for about 9 years.
Cool. And do you intend to do this for a long time?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah, I haven't done my 5-year plan yet. Yoga will always be a part of my life, but we'll see how it ebbs and flows, the teaching, or how I work that out.
And do you find that the clients that you attract are doing yoga and choosing this for a lifestyle change, for a lifelong thing, or do you feel that it's more sporadic and just fitness oriented?
I think that it's a little bit of everything. My clients tend to be baby boomers and a little bit older, and a lot of them have been doing yoga for a very long time, so it's already been a part of their life for quite a while. So you get a little bit of everybody. Some people who just come in, once a week or, every once in a while sporadically to do a class. It's a little bit of everything.
And do you feel that there's like a different way that you talk to each of those people, like segments of group, right? Like, is
right.
I just would think that for the people that are doing for the lifetime, that there's just a different investment that they're
Absolutely.
Putting in.
Right.
So it's almost like you don't have to sell it per se.
Right.
But what are those main talking points for them in terms of connecting with them about it being part of their lifestyle?
You mean during class
or afterward? Yeah, just in general.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about teaching yoga is your classes all have such a mix of students in the classes. So, you'll get people who are beginners who are just coming to yoga. And so you have to watch them and make sure, that they're enjoying it and are not, hurting themselves, or that they are getting everything out of the class that they should get. As well as the people that I see, who come to every class, and you have to also keep an eye on them. So it's a little dance watching everybody in the class, especially with the bigger class. So yeah, that's an interesting question.
And do you notice a difference in the demographic, like say for like more like the baby boomer crowd, like, is their approach to yoga and fitness? Have you noticed that there's a different approach for them, or a preferred approach that they have?
I'm not sure about all of their total approaches, but my classes tend to be the baby boomers and the older, because I'm more alignment oriented, and I'm more about the whole process of the class, about being in the moment of yoga, of the class, of the pose, as opposed to doing a quick vinyasa. And being a younger class that just wants to sweat. So, not that they don't sweat in the class.
Yeah. And not that that's not a valid approach to it.
Not that that's a bad thing.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I think when I was introduced to yoga classes and just taking the variety of them, right, and like being in some that like it went really fast, a lot of flowing, a lot of movement,
right.
And then other ones like restorative, where it's like
right.
you're just in a pose for a really long time and like really settling into it, and it's like neither approach is right or wrong per se,
right.
but it definitely is a different style, and based on where you're at in your life, you should be able to choose the style that you want. So then basically you have your certain style, and it's almost like you attract those people
yes,
that are
definitely.
preferring that style with you.
Definitely, yeah.
Oh, there's a question there. It says, how can you define your baby boomer clients?
How do I define that they are baby boomers?
Well, yeah, I guess, how can you define your baby boomers clients?
Well, since
like
I am a baby boomer.
like what's, what is the...
It is somebody in my
way
age
to describe...
range. Right. So,
you're lovely, friendly, loving, giving, caring.
All the above.
But how does that translate in terms of how you do your yoga practice, as well as just how you go about wellness and fitness and health in general, right?
Right. I think that, so I think it started when I first started teaching. I taught at the library by Lincoln Center. And so that started to bring a little bit older clientele to begin with. And so, I mean, it was a packed class of like 85%, 80 and above. It was a really older class, yeah. And so, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And the thing is that, and then as my classes, progressed, and I got more and more students in it, and older students, because they, they actually talk to each other, and so I lost my train of thought. With this older group, there was, a segment who were just coming to yoga. So you really had to watch them and watch where they were, in the pose and the class. And then there was a segment that had been obviously doing yoga for a long time. So even though they were 85 years old, they were still, doing down dog, so, but you still have to make sure, because I am, like I said, alignment oriented, that I think that's extremely important, but not only because I don't want anyone to get hurt, but also it does bring you more into the moment and into the pose.
And
should I go off onto a tangent?
No, no, that's great. But also too, in terms of them, like their broader picture. So some of them are new to yoga, but some of them have been doing it. Or do you find that they have a more comprehensive wellness regime or perspective, or like what's been your experience with them?
I think the people who, you can tell if they've been doing yoga for a long time, that means that they do have a mind for wellness, that they do have, you know, they do have an understanding of how you need to keep yourself healthy, and that there's, you know, that it's a whole holistic way of keeping yourself healthy into your at least 80s. You know, with the physical part, with the mind part, and that's, you know, how yoga, I think, is so important for every age, because you do get the physical part, but you also get the mindful part, and you know, all the studies that show that that's, you know, really important as you age, is to keep, you know, the mindful part, and you know, working with your health, as, you know, both physically and mentally.
Yeah, that's something I'm just finding with age, right? Is that it's not as segmented.
In your 80s.
It can be. I'm not my 80s yet, but no, just right as you progress further in life, and then you find the things that work for you, the things that you enjoy, but then you just balance your life differently.
Right.
You know, we're in New York City. New York City is very work oriented for a lot of people, so we tend to base a lot of our other stuff around our jobs or around the work that we do.
Right.
So it becomes this work-life balance, and I think everybody has different challenges with that. And sometimes the job is really demanding that you kind of view your own health and wellness like second to that. And I think as you get older in life, though, you start putting health first.
Right.
And whatever you're doing career-wise or work-wise, you know, it's there, but it's part of that bigger picture rather than like the inversion of that, right?
And New York City is very health oriented, I think, very physically oriented, don't you think? Because there's, you know,
Yes.
500 yoga
I know.
studios.
Yes, no,
Just
we're
Manhattan.
very fortunate that, you know, some people would say that there's actually too much at times.
Right.
But I think in terms of accessibility, you want there to be a lot.
Absolutely.
You want to have the options there, and you want to have that accessibility, because that won't be a factor in you not doing it. You know, some
Right.
people will be like, oh, I can't find a place to go. It's not going to be the situation here,
Exactly.
which is great.
You don't have
but
an
but
excuse.
it's more the excuse lies on the other end of the spectrum, like I said, of like having too much to do, and then having to choose what things to fit into your schedule. And so something like that, how is that with your clients? Do you find that they are busy, or that they're making room for, or that they have the time and the room for it?
That's a good question, because it depends. Like when I teach at in the parks, people tend to come like every week. It's always on Saturdays and Sundays, so it's the weekend. So people have off work or school, and so you know, so, and in the mornings they're like around 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock. So I think that they just, you know, make it a weekly thing, set their calendar, set their alarm, you know, to come to class that weekend. So hopefully,
Yeah.
you know, or else if it's at a studio, you know, people are usually already students at that studio, and then they just come into my class, and then I, you know, just keep getting more students as more students come to that that studio. So it's always, you know, usually people who work close by or live close by, that makes it a little easier for them to get to that studio. And like I said, since there's 500 studios in the city,
Yeah.
it's easy to find one.
Yes.
But it is very important to find a studio that you like, the community that you like in that studio. That's really important. The other teachers, the other students, you have to like, you know, I teach Hatha. You know, if you're an Ashtanga teacher or an Ashtanga student, you're going to go to that studio. Or if you like hot yoga, you're going to go to that studio. So there's a lot of different factors also, even within just yoga.
Yeah. No, but that's a good point too, in terms of like getting that sense of community. And that's
Right.
something too, that even though there is the accessibility, or there's the different types of studios, that, you know, as a broader holistic health practitioner, you can bring some of that to your community, and,
Right.
and articulate that to them, and let them know that this is what they're getting out of the experience, as well as the practice itself of yoga. So that's a good point. And But so regarding people who are looking to make this a health goal for them in 2017 moving forward, what do you think is one of the biggest barriers for them? Or, coupling that with what would be a good tip, a common tip, or, a tip for a common person that might be having difficulty adding this into their life?
Yoga specifically, starting
Yeah.
yoga?
Yeah.
I think, there are so many crazy stories out there about yoga. If you don't know about it, if you haven't taken a class, I would even just start with a video at home, or, there's 1,000 different classes that you can look online to watch. And that will help get you to understand what kind of yoga you want to do, what kind of teacher you like. You can then you'll learn some of the poses. And then I would definitely go to a studio, because, doing it at home is great, having a home practice, but you also need that contact with the teacher who's going to bring everything around to, including the pranayama, the breathing that's involved with yoga, the alignment that's involved, the being present, and all like that. So I think all of that will help bring everything around and bring you to the class and help you to get more involved.
Yeah, it's a good point, because it's, once we're in the field for a while, it's almost like you forget those first days
Right.
of oh, this is something new, or what is this about, or demystifying.
Exactly.
I think that for some people, like yoga, and just when you mentioned the breath, the pranayama,
Pranayama.
right? Like all those words, it's like, what does that mean?
Yes,
it sounds so
yes.
mystical, and it's
Yes,
like, oh, it's just
so
breathing.
don't be afraid of that. Yeah, and that's a lot of people, because they don't know. They're afraid of that. Like, oh my gosh, I don't know Hindi. Am I going to be able to do a class? So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's true. I find that with other fitness-oriented things, like anything with movement, there are aspects that it seems intense, like certain
Right.
poses, right, or certain exercises. You're just like, wow, that was tough. But the overall picture, usually it's not as challenging as we might think it is in our minds. So it's really just showing up. But like you said, doing a little bit of that prep work, watch a video here or there, get some idea about things, just so it's not all unknown
Right,
to you.
exactly.
So then once you have some of those known factors, you go in. But yeah, really it's just showing up and then just seeing what it feels like for you.
Absolutely.
In terms of the community as well as the physicality, like those physical positions.
Mm-hmm.
But even that, some of those things you can try at home. You can practice a few poses at
Absolutely.
home. But I find when I do it at home, it does seem a little bit more challenging. I do like the atmosphere, and I do like the comfort of knowing that there's a practitioner that's much more knowledgeable, like right nearby.
Exactly.
And especially in yoga, you usually come by and you touch and help
Exactly.
like position somebody into the pose, and
Right.
that's lovely.
Right.
So.
Well, basically that's how it started, thousands of years ago in India. It wasn't, all these teachers around at all these little studios. It was, it was students around one yogi who knew, everything about yoga and taught students. So, that's, where it started. So that's why I say, if you start out, if you're, very apprehensive about it, start with a video, and just so you know a little bit what to expect when you get to the class, and then the teacher will help you to come in. And believe me, there's always beginners in class. There's always people who, nobody's going to look the same as you do in a pose. That's the other thing. If you look around at everybody else, when you're in Warrior 2, and they don't look like you do, don't worry, because everybody is built differently. That's why I say, you have to worry about how people are in the pose, because, no one's going to look the same. So you just have to help them out.
Awesome. Yeah, so I guess we'll start wrapping up. So what's your closing thought? Like what's your intention for this year with your clientele, with the practitioners that do yoga with you?
My intention is to help the students that I do have to contact other students around their age to understand my classes, to come to my classes and learn that, everybody has these New Year's resolutions, and you don't need to have, a resolution of I'm going to lose, 40 pounds or anything, but intentions are good because they're more positive, they're more focused. So yeah, that's what I'll be focusing on, and hopefully this year.
Yeah, it's good to have like the outcome-oriented goal, but sometimes like people hang out there a little bit too much, and to bring it back to the person, bring it back to yourself. What are your intentions? What do you enjoy? How can you progress at the rate that you're ready to progress? And I think when you focus on the process end of it, and you meet other instructors and facilitators that do that, it's this gradual lifestyle approach, which a lot of people enjoy, and they don't realize that they could take that approach because the mind does go to those outcomes and the goals.
Absolutely.
So hopefully, you and I can continue to connect with people and remind them that there's the process aspect of this as well, and to just get them engaged in the process, to help people with intentions, with clarity of what they're intending to do, and just check in with themselves on how they're doing.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, and of course you're on wellb, and your website is kellyyoga.nyc.com.
That's me.
Great. So we know how to get in touch with you, but you're a wellb community member, so of course we're going to be interacting with you more in the future. So.
And I have a page on Facebook, and this is such a great idea, and I think I'll do some videos on just like one or two poses, so people who will know, not to be too apprehensive about starting a class.
Yes, another avenue for them to gain that familiarity.
Exactly.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you so much, Kelly.
Thanks.
This is fun. It's always good talking with you.
You too.
And thanks for coming in and sharing with us live here.
Thank you.
This is going to be saved and recorded and put on our wellb website, our YouTube site. And if anybody has any questions moving forward, you could still ask questions then, and let us know what you think and what else you'd like us to talk about. So I really appreciate everybody who's watching this and getting some information from the wellb community. Thank you.
Thanks.